Welcome back to another edition of Yankees Latest right here on the Fan Arch Network. I'm Marc Malusis. Thanks for being with me. And remember, like, subscribe, tell your friends about Yankees Latest. And we're with you every single day, Monday through Friday, each and every day, courtesy of the Fan Arch Network. And also, thanks to our friends over at Kalshi. Check them out. Download the app. We'll get to them momentarily. They sponsor this video on a day-in, day-out basis. And love what everyone's doing at Kalshi and the marketplace and how you can trade against your peers, get in and out of positions. But we're here to talk a little Yankee baseball. Nice opener last night down in Camden Yards. Great spot. If you've never been to Camden Yards, unbelievable place to watch a baseball game. And I understand we're all Yankee fans, but it is a great ballpark. Sight lines are unbelievable. Boog's Barbecue out there right by, the brick building. Fantastic as well. Delicious for ballpark food. I understand ballpark food has been ramped up over the years, but I'm not really a sushi guy. Don't necessarily need to eat a steak sandwich from Pat LaFrida's in order to enjoy a Yankee game. If you do, God bless. Not judging, not knocking, but I'll tell you, Camden Yards is beautiful, and it's also beautiful when the Yankees get a win on a Tuesday night, which they did last night against the Baltimore Orioles, 3-1 to the good. We'll get to the Rodon stuff here momentarily, but Yankees offensively, they didn't need much because of how good their not just Rodon, but their entire pitching staff was last night against Baltimore, where you had Rodon go 4 innings, and then you had De Los Santos for 2, Hedrick for 2/3, Cruz for a third, Blackburn for an inning, and then David Bednar to close it out, getting his 28th save of the season with 1 perfect inning of work with 2 strikeouts. His ERA is down to 2.44. The Yankee offense provided by Trent Grisham, who was really, really good last night for the Bombers as he finished, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs, drove in all 3 Yankee runs. The home run early to stake the Yankees to a 1-0 lead, top half of the 3rd inning, and then 2-run single, top half of the 7th inning that gave the Yankees then a 3-1 lead and broke a 1-all tie. And Grisham's one of those guys where you say to yourself, well, you need players on this team that are going to heat up a little bit and get a little bit right. And give Grisham credit. Month of August so far this season, 281 in 57 at-bats. He's got 6 home runs, 12 RBIs. That's what you need. On the season, 224, 17, 54, OPS sitting there right around 740. And we know slow heartbeat to the game, plays an exquisite defensive center field. We've heard Boone talk about that after the game. And we've also heard Boone over the weekend mention that, the answers in essence for the Bombers offensively have got to come from within. And he's not wrong about that, right? You can move around the deck chairs a little bit and change up the lineup and give it a different look, give it a little bit of a different feel. But in the end, it's going to be the same personnel. So you're going to need some guys to be able to step up and perform. We talked about it last week. There was a piece by Joel Sherman, New York Post, about potentially having Jazz Chisholm, Trent Grisham not having their names exactly penciled into the lineup on a day-in, day-out basis. We've seen an adjustment at second base with Caballero getting a little bit burned by Aaron Boone, but Grisham has pushed back on that a little bit based on his performance, and last night he was brilliant. So he was very good offensively, and the Yankees are never going to have one of those get-right games offensively where you flip it on if you haven't been watching 5th or 6th inning and the Yankees are leading the game 12-1. Never going to have a game like the Milwaukee Brewers had last night against the Seattle Mariners where they scored 22 runs. That's not happening. I don't need it to happen. What I need to have happen is the Yankees offense and their lineup show a little bit of a pulse. Just a little bit of life. And you saw that last night where, all the production provided by one man in Grisham, who's, back on the 1-year contract, but that's what you need. And the Yankees don't need a ton, as they're sitting here 15 games over the 500 mark. Last night they left 6 on base. They were 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. You're never going to be a good team with runners in scoring position, this Yankee team with the group that they're rolling out right now. But overall here, like to see it. Like to see a Yankee win down at Camden Yards. Like to see all of that. Those are all positive things when you're looking at the Bombers last night. And offensively, Trent Grisham was really, really, really good. And the Yankees, those are the kind of games the Yankees are going to win right now, is where you're holding on for dear life. And they certainly were last night. Bullpen was exquisite. Going out there and throwing 5 innings of shutout baseball after the 4 innings of work by Carlos Rodon. Let's get into Kalshi a little bit because they're fantastic. They sponsor each and every episode of Yankees Latest, and we thank them for that. And on Kalshi, you can trade every single game. Right now, the Baltimore Orioles are trading at 47%, or 47 cents to beat the Yankees, meaning a trade right now. If you take the Baltimore Orioles later on tonight and you like them, and I do, and you bet 100, you win 208.87. On Kalshi, you're trading against your peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade on anything. So there you have it as far as Kalshi is concerned. I understand you might say, well, Mark, you're a Yankee fan. Yes, I am a Yankee fan. Doesn't necessarily mean I think the Yankees are going to win every single game. And I think when you take a look at the pitching matchups for later on this evening down in Baltimore, 6:35 start, Will Warren, Chris Bassett, excuse me, I would take Bassett over Warren. And the Orioles are right there in the wild card chase in the American League. I don't necessarily trust this Yankee offense. Therefore, I would take the Baltimore Orioles tonight on Kalshi. Just one man's opinion. Don't shoot the messenger. It just is what it is. We'll see exactly how the game plays out later on tonight. As far as Rodon is concerned, good to have him back. It really is. And I'm not the biggest Carlos Rodon fan, as I've said it time and time again. Rodon's one of those guys that I don't completely trust. I think he's a more appealing, more digestible as a 3 or 4, or specifically a number 4 in your starting rotation. I don't think he's worth $162 million the Yankees gave him in free agency, but that's where you give credit to leverage for the player, and he went out there and got himself paid. So Rodon got paid. Now, do I trust him in a big-time spot? No, I don't. Do I necessarily think that he's going to stay healthy the rest of the way after he dealt with pretty bad inflammation in his pitching, in his pitching arm after having off-season surgery? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if necessarily Carlos Rodon's going to be here for the duration, and certainly this version of Rodon that we've seen in 2026 is not comparable to the version that we saw in 2025. All those things are true. But last night down in Baltimore, he gave the Yankees a really good start, and that's exactly what you want to see, especially coupled with the news that came out on Monday that Max Fried is back on the IL dealing with a bone bruise in his pitching elbow, and the fear of God that you have there is that there's going to be some sort of significant injury or surgery here moving forward, because it's the second time that Fried's been placed on the IL dealing with the bone bruise in that pitching elbow. So that's not necessarily a good thing. And Fried, when he returned in 5 starts, pitched to a 1.86 ERA. He was really, really good. So that alters and changes your viewpoint, vantage point when you look at this Yankee starting rotation. Can Rodon be what he was a year ago? We'll see. And maybe I'm proven wrong. And if I'm proven wrong, I'll be happy to be proven wrong. If the Yankees end up winning a World Series and Rodon ends up being one of the main driving forces in the starting rotation to help lead the way. Yankees still have a big dynamic duo in Cam Schlittler and obviously Garrett Cole at the top end of that starting rotation. Rodon last night, I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, through 4 innings of work, you knew that there were going to be limitations to Carlos Rodon and what exactly how deep into the game he was going to be able to go. He threw 66 pitches. He had 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, did allow 2 hits and a run, that being the home run to Mayo in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, right after Grisham hit a home run in the top half of the 3rd inning. So that negated the 1-0 lead. But 4 innings of work, 66 pitches, 39 strikes. His ERA on the season is sitting at 3.22. So good to have Rodon back. Yankees are going to need him. I have limited expectations in terms of where the ceiling is for Carlos Rodon this season, but make no doubt about it. And the Fried news now alters the Yankees' plans and potentially moving a guy like Weathers to the back end of the bullpen or to the bullpen, or Will Warren to the bullpen, everything like that. Puts those plans for the Bombers on hold for a little bit. We'll see if Fried, if and when he does return to this Yankee starting rotation, and then when he does return, if he's able to stay on the mound. Those are going to be 2 massive reservations, but good to see Rodon back. And last night down in Baltimore, and the Yankees did a rightful pivot by not giving him another rehab start, just like they did with Fried when he started against the Pirates. The Yankees did the same thing with Rodon last night as he started against the Baltimore Orioles, and it was a successful return to the Major League mound. Now, a little update on Aaron Judge. Positive news when you think about Aaron Judge, with the news coming out that he is going to be returning to limited baseball activities. That's a positive. I mean, you'll take it. Crawl before you walk, walk before you run. My mom would always say that when I was growing up, right? And you got to take baby steps at times in the progression here. We know that he's been out a while. We know that the Yankees can't think about, winning a World Series without number 99 being a part of it. But Aaron Judge is set to take the next steps in his comeback from a fractured rib that's kept him out for nearly 3 months. Aaron Boone said yesterday that Judge will be introduced to his hitting progression this week, and that he's been doing swing-related stuff in the pool in recent days. Boone adding he's progressing. It's all part of the process. Hopefully it goes well. The fact that he's responded in the first week of adding intensity as far as being allowed to do some things upper body-wise, playing catch, running, it's all part of his buildup. So all that's positive. If you're a Yankee fan on this Wednesday, you got to be smiling ear to ear. That's a good thing if you're a Yankee fan. I've told you time and time again, all of those people that were out there telling you, oh, Judge is not coming back, or Cashman wasn't really super aggressive and didn't go above and beyond because he realized that Judge is not returning. The Yankees can't win a World Series without Aaron Judge. I told you at the time, stop the nonsense. Like, I understand that sometimes with injuries there is great mystery. We see that with Giancarlo Stanton. Yankees hopefully are going to get Bellinger back in short order. But I told you at the time that Judge was going to be back with this team time and time and time again. So that's where you have to pick and choose in terms of what you lean into and what you believe. And, I also thought that Judge didn't want to miss out. That if need be, and he wasn't 100%, Judge was going to try and make his return to this Yankee lineup because he wants to be a part of it, because he understands he's not getting younger, he's getting older, and he's in his early mid-30s now, and Judge wants to win a World Series and help deliver a title to this organization for the first time since 2009. And he understands the importance of this team. Like, if you didn't understand the importance of Aaron Judge to the New York Yankees and how he is the great equalizer for this Bomber franchise, look at this Yankee lineup. I mean, we are applauding and celebrating the fact that the Yankees scored 3 runs last night down in Baltimore. All 3 generate off one man's bat in Trent Grisham. Home run, 2-run single. But that's where we're at as Yankee fans right now is, when you see that, it almost brings you to tears. Because we've watched games in which the Yankees have had, recently, where they've had 4 hits, left 3 on base, and were 1 for 3 as a team with runners in scoring position and had 9 strikeouts. I mean, we've seen some abysmal offensive baseball. And if you don't know the importance of Aaron Judge, well, I think you do now. Since he has been out May 31st, we're sitting here. It's Wednesday, August the 19th. Since he has been out, you look at this scenario and you say to yourself, well, we know the Yankees know they need him back. He knows his importance to this team. If you didn't appreciate Aaron Judge, well, I think you appreciate him now. So all positive signs. You heard it from Booney's mouth yesterday down in Camden Yards. Body has responded well. They're going to be ramping it up. He's been taking swings in a pool. No kind of setback, no negativity, no pressure. He's going to be ramping up even more. It's all part of the process. And by hook or by crook, before the end of this regular season, and if I had to venture a guess, I'd say we're looking at 3 weeks. 3 weeks. If I had to venture a guess. Now, I don't know that, but if I had to venture a guess, I'd tell you 3 weeks till Aaron Judge returns to this team. And looky here. How about the fact that the Yankees have tightened up the race in the American League East against the Tampa Bay Rays, which is great. And listen, do I think the Rays are going to come all the way back to the pack? I don't, but, they're 6-4 last 10. They lost last night. The Yankees won 2 straight. The lead is now down to 5 games. It's still a decided advantage when you're looking at the Tampa Bay Rays, especially when you look at the limitations of this Yankee team. If I was announcing today, which I'm not, that Bellinger and Judge are going to be back in the lineup tonight, then I'd say, well, the table's open. Like, whatever you would like to order and whatever you would like to believe in. Take a look at the menu. Like, all options are a possibility. That is not what we're talking about today. So there are still limitations to the Yankees. The one thing that gives you a great comfort is that you don't necessarily need to win the division in order to have success in the baseball playoffs. You really don't. We've seen it time and time again. I don't love the inherent excuse of a roll of the dice. Got to get lucky at the right time, baseball gods. All the nonsense that we've seen spewed by baseball executives in recent years when their teams go out there and fail. However, the other thing that keeps you warm and cozy if you're a Yankee fan is the Yankees are 15 games over 500. Series continues tonight down in Baltimore against the Orioles, and the Yankees have not been the epitome of health. You know, Fried's been out, Rodon's been out, didn't start the year with Garrett Cole. Judge has been out since May 31st. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton's barely hit this year, and Bellinger's out. So, and you also had to deal with the inconsistencies of bad shortstop play and bad infield defense and bad defense on the whole, where the Yankees continue to play really a sloppy brand of baseball. The strength has been the starting rotation. So you think about all of that and everyone that is out of this lineup and the fact that the Yankees, and I get the American League stinks, you know, on the whole. I mean, the three best teams in the American League reside in the American League East with the Yankees, the Red Sox, and obviously the Tampa Bay Rays, who lead the division. But to put it into proper context in terms of just how bad the American League is on the whole, and I don't think the Yankees are necessarily a product of just being part of the American League. But let's pick a team. The Seattle Mariners are 8 games under 500. They just lost last night to the Milwaukee Brewers, 22-0. 22-0. So they wake up on this Wednesday. They're 8 games under the 500 mark. Let me ask you, how many games do you think they're out of the wild card spot, third and final wild card spot in the American League? How many games? Quick answer. Thank you for your guesses. The answer is 3. That is it. Just 3 measly games for the Seattle Mariners. Crazy when you think about it. So give the Yankees credit. Even with all of those injuries, they've remained or have held their head above water. Remain more than just competitive, 15 games over the 500 mark, right there. And if they get healthy, they're going to be super dangerous come October. The question we all have is, are they going to get healthy? Remember, like and subscribe these videos. Thanks to Kalshi once again for sponsoring these videos. We appreciate that. Have yourself a wonderful Wednesday. Enjoy the Yankees-Orioles series continuing tonight down in Camden Yards as the Baltimore Orioles looking to try to punch their ticket. And they've got a ways to go, but they're right there for a wild card spot in the American League as well. Pete Alonso and company. So enjoy Yankees and Orioles later on tonight. We'll be back with you tomorrow. So have yourself a wonderful Wednesday. Remember, subscribe. We love that. This is Marc Malusis, Yankees Latest, right here on the Fan Arch Network.